At the height of the 2008 global financial crises, when banks were collapsing and millions were losing their savings, an anonymous message appeared on a small cryptography mailing list. It began simply, "I've been working on a new electronic cash system that's fully pure with no trusted third party." The name attached to that email was Satoshi Nakamoto. 9 pages later, the Bitcoin white paper outlined an idea so radical that few could grasp it. A form of money that didn't rely on banks, governments, or corporations. A network run entirely by math, cryptography, and collective trust. At first, it looked like a curiosity, the work of some eccentric coder hiding behind a Japanese pseudonym. But over the next few years, Bitcoin would explode into a global phenomenon. Its creator would become one of the most influential and wealthiest figures in modern history. And then, he disappeared. No trace, no farewell, no clue where he went or who he really was. Today, Satoshi Nakamoto is both legend and ghost, the phantom billionaire behind a trillion-dollar revolution. In the beginning, Satoshi wasn't alone. The early Bitcoin community was a small, tight-knit group of cryptographers and programmers, veterans of the cypherpunk movement. People who believed that privacy and code could free humanity from centralized control. One of the first to respond to Satoshi's post was Hal Finney, a brilliant developer and longtime cryptographic activist. Finney immediately grasped the potential of Bitcoin. He compiled the code, ran the software, and even received the first ever Bitcoin transaction from Satoshi himself. Finney described Satoshi as meticulous and courteous, never emotional, never impatient. They communicated strictly through emails and forums. Satoshi claimed to be a 37-year-old man living in Japan, but his writing suggested otherwise. He wrote perfect English, using British spellings like favor and color, terms like bloody hard, and timestamps that aligned with London's time zone. There were other oddities, too. When journalists and coders tried to contact him directly, he responded at strange hours, disappearing for days at a time. His code was flawless, far too advanced for a lone hobbyist, and his knowledge of cryptography, economics, and C++ programming was expert level. Was Satoshi even one person? For 2 years, Satoshi led the Bitcoin project with quiet authority. He fixed bugs, discussed improvements, and corresponded with other developers under his pseudonym. Then, in December 2010, he simply stopped. He made one final post on a Bitcoin forum addressing a minor issue with the software, and then vanished from public view. A few months later, in April 2011, Satoshi sent his final known email to developer Gavin Andresen. "I've moved on to other things. It's in good hands with Gavin and everyone." And that was it. No more emails. No more code commits. Satoshi Nakamoto was gone. His disappearance was eerily complete, like a digital ghost wiping its own existence clean. Over time, the legend grew. Investigators scoured old forum posts, language patterns, and code structures, hunting for clues. And as Bitcoin's value skyrocketed, so did the obsession. Whoever Satoshi was, he owned around 1 million Bitcoins, worth over $70 billion today. Who could walk away from that? The search for Satoshi quickly became a global manhunt. In 2014, Newsweek claimed to have found him. Dorian Prentice, Satoshi Nakamoto, a quiet Japanese-American engineer living in California. Dorian fit the name, and he had a background in technology and defense contracting. But when reporters confronted him, he seemed genuinely bewildered. "I'm not involved in Bitcoin," he said. "I never heard of it until my son told me." The crypto community erupted in outrage, accusing journalists of doxing an innocent man. Meanwhile, others pointed fingers at Nick Szabo, a computer scientist and early cryptographer who had proposed BitGold, a precursor to Bitcoin. Linguistic analysis showed uncanny similarities between Szabo's writings and the Bitcoin white paper, but Szabo denied it repeatedly. Another theory centered on Hal Finney himself, his technical brilliance, proximity to the pseudonym, and the fact that he lived just blocks away from Dorian Nakamoto made him a prime suspect. Yet Finney, battling ALS, denied it. He passed away in 2014. His Bitcoin holdings left untouched. There were even more outlandish claims. Some believed Satoshi was Craig Wright, an Australian businessman who publicly declared himself the inventor of Bitcoin, but failed to provide any cryptographic proof. Others whispered that it was a group project, possibly funded by the NSA, CIA, or even a collective of early cypherpunks like Adam Back and Wadeye. Beyond the names and theories, the mystery took on a deeper meaning. Satoshi Nakamoto became more than a person. He became an idea. In an era when trust in institutions had collapsed, he represented the promise of a system that didn't need trust at all. A self-sustaining, decentralized economy where math replaced middlemen and transparency replaced corruption. Bitcoin wasn't just a currency. It was rebellion, and Satoshi's vanishing act made it even more powerful. By disappearing, he removed any central figure, any leader who could be corrupted or targeted. In a strange way, the mystery completed Bitcoin's design, a system built by a ghost, maintained by no one, owned by everyone. Still, the question lingers. If Satoshi ever chose to return or to move his 1 million Bitcoins, it could shake global markets overnight. His silence, paradoxically, preserves the system's stability. Over the years, countless attempts have been made to prove Satoshi's identity through stylometry, code analysis, and forensic linguistics. Patterns in his writings show consistency with academic English, suggesting a well-educated native speaker, possibly with experience in British finance or computer science. His coding style mirrored that of several developers in the early 2000s, but with quirks unique to him, like using double spaces and odd capitalization. Some linguists claim the Bitcoin white paper matches Nick Shaba's style by over 90%. Others note that the timing of Satoshi's posts matches Halfini's waking hours. Still others believe Satoshi never existed as a single entity, that he was a pseudonym used by multiple cryptographers to protect themselves. The truth may be even stranger. Satoshi might have died before Bitcoin exploded, leaving behind a system that no one fully controls, and a fortune that no one can touch. Today, Bitcoin is a $1 trillion ecosystem, spawning an entire industry, countless imitators, and fierce political debate. Every time the market surges or crashes, headlines ask the same question. Where is Satoshi? His silence has become almost sacred. Some view him as a visionary. Others see him as a myth, but even myths have consequences. If Satoshi's coins were ever moved, it could trigger global panic, proof that the ghost is real and awake. Yet decades later, those coins remain untouched, like a digital tomb sealed in the blockchain. Meanwhile, governments struggle to regulate what they can't control. Banks study what they once dismissed, and billions of people, knowingly or not, live in the financial world Satoshi built. No matter who he was, a genius programmer, a small team of revolutionaries, or something else entirely, Satoshi Nakamoto changed the world. He didn't invent the internet, but he invented something within it that might outlast nations. He proved that trust could be engineered, and that freedom could be written in code. And by vanishing, he ensured that Bitcoin would never have a master. Somewhere, perhaps, Satoshi is still watching, not as a man, but as a symbol. A reminder that one anonymous mind, armed only with code, can rewrite the rules of civilization. The world may never find Satoshi Nakamoto, but in a sense, he never wanted to be found. He wanted to be an idea, and ideas, especially those worth billions, never die.